Now let's take a look at this figure 23-22. And we're dealing with the energy code and then just a regular calculation where we have an unlisted occupancy in some cases. Now, note the energy code units in VA or VA per square foot ratings may be less or more than shown in the energy code 90.1. Now, let's look at the square footage, a 6,000 square foot store building. The general lighting load, you go to 220.12B and table 220.12H, and you'd have electrical discharge lighting and you'd have incandescent lighting. Now, you'd look at the units there, and if they're just individual units and you want to figure those, then you would come in and you'd say, well, the electrical discharge lighting in accordance to 220.12B and 230.42A1 and A2. The incandescent lighting is 220.14L and 230.42A1 and A2. Now, when we look at that, then we'd come in and take 6,000 square foot times 1.9 VA, we'd have 11,400. We would take 430.42A1 and multiply that 125%, and we'd come up with 14,250. And the general lighting load then would be 14,250 VA. Now, the thing is, if you look at the Annex D, NFPA in the Annex D, they take the 1.9 times 6,000 times 1.9, you come up with 11,400. Then they take 6,000 times 125% and take the larger of the two. But we're applying the 230.42A1 rule there and taking 125% of it, and that's the way we recommend that it be done. But you want to check this out now with authority having jurisdiction, because they may look at the 6,000 at 1.9 VA, 11,400, then they take 6,000 at 125%, and they take the larger of the two, is illustrated in the Annex D as in dog in the back of the code. So we think that's kind of a small reduction in 1.9 from 3 VA of the 2017 NEC. That's quite a drop. And then to completely do away with 125% of 230.42A1, and I feel like that's just a little too low of a VA rating. But that's up to you when you do the calculation and the authority having jurisdiction. Now, if you're using the energy code, then recessed lighting, use the energy code 90.1, 10 units, 100 VA each. Drop down in the energy code, 16 units, you'd have 180 VA each, and that would be your value. And in the incandescent lighting, you would have 90.1, 12 units at 100 VA each. And then notice when you do your math, you'd have 180 times 16, 2,880. 150 times 12, 1,800. You'd have 100 VA at 10, 1,000. Total all that VA, you come up with 5,680 VA. But the energy code 90.1 would say, well, you multiply that by 125%, so 5,680 times 125% would be 7,100 VA that you would use using the energy code. Now, that's exactly why they dropped back to 1.9 VA to be more in compliance, I think, with the energy code. But this is the way that we recommend that it be done. But notice the final person that's going to have the final say on this would be the authority having jurisdiction, either at the plan check level or maybe even at the inspection level out in the field by the AHJ. So I'd always check on this calculation. And if you'll look at our designing electrical system book or the Journeyman book. In the very back, we have the items listed there that usually the authority having jurisdiction will look at so that you know, and this happens to be one of them. So good luck with your calculations, and this is going to be our last illustration in the standard calculation of commercial and industrial location with optional calculations and with the energy code and so forth. But remember, the energy code has to be adopted, by the city or the state or the county. And then you see if you're going to calculate each unit or, use their table for the VA square foot rating that they would have. So, and you have some special rules you got to follow when you look at 220.12b and 220.14d along with 220.14l using the energy code. You got to monitor the load, and if you exceed what the energy code you've calculated, you got to disconnect some of it or all of it. However the state, city, or county is going to regulate that. So check on the energy code and the regular standard calculation of the NFPA NEC and see which way you want to go, they go with it. And that's exactly what this illustration is illustrating to the designer and the calculator person using the NEC.